Folks, this is the York Region Show for week ending July 23rd, 2025. I'm going to talk to you about a hidden heist. Now, if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. A while back, out of the blue, I received a phone call from this gentleman who is extremely upset, raised his voice, telling me, why am I selling his mother's house? I didn't know what he was talking about. Had several listings at the time and saying like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. Which property are you referring to? He gives me the address, and sure enough, it's a property I have listed for sale, but I am not going to be divulging any private confidential information, especially to somebody I don't know anything about. Just call me out of the blue. And he says, you're not supposed to be selling that house. That's my mother's house. It's not for sale. And I said, sir, I'm not going to be able to give you any private confidential information, but I can assure you the person on title is the person I spoke with, and that's the person that hired me, and I verified their identity. I don't know what to tell you beyond that. He says, I also have power of attorney on the property. We both do. She can't do that. She's trying to steal the house. And he goes on and on and on, and then hangs up. So immediately I call my client and I said, listen, I just got a call. It's some man. He's extremely upset. And I explained to her what he said. And she says, oh yeah, that's my brother. And yeah, at one point we both had power of attorney. But then my mother changed it and just gave me power of attorney. And then later on, she put the house in my name. This is my house. I'm allowed to sell my house. That's what she tells me. This is all a little bit disturbing. I call my lawyer. I explain to my lawyer, here's the situation. And he says, Santo, did you do your job as far as verifying ID and everything you're supposed to do to make sure the person you're speaking with is the person on title? I said, yes. He goes, then what you're doing, you can proceed with what you're doing. However, they're going to figure this out. And if you're not supposed to sell that house, if there's some sort of fraud or something that they figure out amongst themselves with their lawyers, they're going to stop you from selling the property. Sure enough, a few days later, the homeowner, the lady that hired me to sell the house, says, Santo, we got to stop this for a while. I can't sell the house right now. We got some things to sort out, internally with her family. That was 2 years ago. The house has never gone on the market since then. Nothing's really changed. And I can't say for sure 100% that there was some sort of fraud going on there. However, these situations or variations of these situations are going to become more numerous. The population is aging. There's a large part of the population that has, the older population is a large part of that has lots of assets. And their children, siblings, a lot of them are having tough times today. And some of them feel entitled to some of those assets. And there's going to be issues where money gets distributed in ways where one sibling versus another thinks that either they're entitled to more or feels that things were done unfairly. There's going to be more situations like this over the coming years. Let me know in the comments below if you've experienced anything similar to this. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. The data, the numbers, we're not going to have them for this week's show, but they'll return next week's show. Have a great day.